so commonly overlooked, but without question, the most important rule that any of us can abide by. Hey everybody, it's Ed the Trainer, and I'll tell you exactly what it is, even though you already know exactly what it is, but it's coming up next on this week's Tips on Tuesday. So I'm sitting at dinner the other night while I was on travel and had the nicest waitress named Linda. And she explained to me the menu and gave me some recommendations on some things. And I told her right then and there, you know, I don't often get this kind of service. I don't often meet people as friendly as you. And she was just taken aback by the fact that I would take a second to even recognize that. And she came out, brought me a dinner salad, and I started to eat the dinner salad, and I felt compelled to tell her how impressed I was and how I didn't expect that there was sweet corn in the salad. I took a bite in and didn't realize that was in there, and it made all the difference in the world, and called her over to tell her that, and she was just ecstatic, right? Really pleased that I would take a minute to tell her that. And then she brought out my dinner. And here's what I didn't tell you. She gave me some recommendations and I didn't listen. I ordered what I wanted. And she even told me that the place was famous for TriTip. And I passed on that. I was in the mood for some brisket. So I had a plate of brisket and she brought it out and I started into it and it wasn't the best. And she came by and she said to me, the brisket looks real dry. Maybe you should try the TriTip. And I said, it's okay. The brisket's good. She said, no. Let me take this back. Let me get you the TriTip. Let me make sure that you have a good meal, that you really enjoy it. And I thought I didn't even ask. And I even said to her, Linda, listen, you don't have to do that. I'm fine. It's good. She goes, no. Good isn't good enough. And she took my plate back. And she brought me back a totally new plate with all my sides, everything redone within about 5 minutes, and a full-size piece of the TriTip, right? Just an unbelievable gesture. And I bit into it, and it was probably the best TriTip I've ever had. And I explained that to her as well. And through the rest of the meal, she kept coming back and checking and brought me a dessert on her. Now, what I'm trying to share with you here, when I say probably one of the most overlooked rules to follow, is that because I was kind and because I went out of my way to have some conversation and to compliment Linda on how pleasant she was and how well she treated me and how nice it felt in the restaurant, she in turn went out of her way in order to make sure that my entire experience at the restaurant was well above expectation. And I know I'll never forget that visit to that restaurant. And I would hope now, probably she had so many customers that night that she'll never remember the guy that came in from Maryland one day to have dinner that she changed out my brisket. But the point is, I'm hopeful that at least that night that I was her favorite customer, because of the fact that we each treated each other kindly. And we each went out of our way to make the other's day better. Right? And it's the old rule. We treat people the way we want to be treated, right? The golden rule, if you will. And I challenge you this week, because I know for me, sometimes I don't think it through too. I don't think it through. And sometimes I might not be in the best mood. But think about what kind of a difference we could make in someone's day, in someone's week, in someone's life if we treated people the way that we'd like to be treated. Right? This is an old school lesson this week, an old school lesson. Let's try for a day. And let's see if we can do it for 2. And let's see if we can do it for 3. And let's see if we can do it for a full week. And see what kind of difference we can make in people's lives if we make that strive to treat people the way that we'd like to be treated. Okay. Interestingly, it's the same lesson that I heard this past Sunday at church. Not a coincidence, I'm sure. But I think it's a powerful message that all of us should probably make a better effort in living out. I know I'm guilty, and I know that I'm resolved to try to make sure that I live that out to the best that I can going forward. I hope you will too. And I hope you have a great week. I really, really appreciate that you took some time to watch this week. We'll see you soon.